day, casters. Welcome to a 2 a.m. thoughts from Magito for me to you, to you to me. I just sneezed. My eyes are gone bright red. Yeah. So, started playing the game. Got some few games in. We played Green. Well, we played Earth, Water, Air, and Fire today. And enjoyed it. Enjoyed the card game. It's very simplistic game state currently. I like to see with new card games because at the end of the day, trying to get into some of these card games now, and they're already like, yeah, we've got 15 years of development, lots of different changes. It's hard to sort of push your way in, or it's a big price gap where you walk into the game and go, hey, look, I want to play the game. It's like, yeah, sure. The cheapest thing you can buy is like 50 quid, and then you need to put another 100 to 200 pounds into it to even play the game. And then there's things like Pokemon, for instance, which is just like, hey, if you want to play, it's cool, but we can't really aim for the kids around here. And then occasionally, if you're lucky, your locals do like a parents' night, because most parents have kids who play, and then they'll play themselves because the kids want to play. So it makes sense. But Elestral's really cool. So I am going to try and get my son to play with me. He ain't going to understand, not because the game's hard, just because he's not going to understand. But me and the wife played it. We seem to have enjoyed it, and it's fairly consistently good. I do feel like the issue though with the card game is like if you open bad and you have to 10% nerf yourself at the start of the game because you had a bad hand, because let's face it, bricks happen. That's not great. I think the first mulligan in any card game should always be free, or you only get one, because having a dead hand, knowing that, oh crap, I can't play this deck out, not necessarily because you've had like nothing useful, but if you open a hand with like a level 2, a level 3, and then 3 counter runes, it's like, yeah, what are you going to do? I'm not going to do anything. What's the point? But I don't know. I like the idea of having a mulligan straight into the game, but I do think it needs to be tweaked. Maybe the first one's free. Just that way you can play a bit better. A lot of people say like you'll just have greedy card making deck building then. And it's like, yeah, you probably will, but it's better to have the ability to just, shuffle and play than it is to, lose 10% of your health, draw your next hand and have a bad hand again. I don't know how many times you can mulligan, but it might be a case of like, yeah, you can only mulligan once, but you also have to, take a hit. But again, I like the idea. What I don't like is, and I believe Adrive has already spoke about this, is that in the founders boxes, you get some absolutely terrible clumping. And that's not just with packs, it's with your hollows, it's with your god artifacts. I think they're artifacts anyway. Your spells, your removal, and all that. The amount of things that I opened, you'll see like the pack openings and stuff in the next couple of days. That were like, oh yeah, I opened one pack and like half of it is just stadium cards, or half of it is just the ruins cards, but like, not the greatest ones. Or I get like, I open a pack and I had like the same thing multiple times, like, so I open like 3 packs in a row and every single pack's got the same cards in 3 times in a row. Or occasionally when I open packs I had the same commons in, and it's like, oh, this is really weird because we're doing Pokemon things here where we get the rare and the foil are the same card, or we get like the card before the foil is the same card. And if you know who I am, I hate that. I hate getting the foil and the non-foil versions of cards in the same pack. To me, that feels like you've lost a card, personally speaking. But at the same time, it's meant to be getting better in first edition boxes where we get our new stuff in there. It's a new company, it's a new printing process, it's new cards to play with. And I do think that's how you should look at your card games and go like, hey, look, this is the issues we've had, these improvements we're going to make. And I'm glad that they have decided to do that pretty much straight away. They went like, we did like the first thing, we did the Founders Editions, we didn't necessarily like it, or it wasn't to our quality control that we wanted. To be fair, the cards are very clean and very nice. I've noticed that a few cards do have a little bit of damage to them, but that could just be the case of like, hey, look, we've cut like 50,000 cards today, and the blades at the end of the day are just going to be worn down. I understand that. I work at a company where we have to use blades that get used like 50,000 times a day, and you don't always get the best quality towards the end of the day. We've got to clean them, you know, change them, we've got to look after them, we've got to look after equipment. The other thing I'd say is like the shop for UK residents, especially with America. Being American and UK have like a customs thing currently going on because we're friends apparently. It's very weird to have to sort of like be like, we can't deal with you because it's like new custom regulations. I don't know if it's because it's a pricing thing, or if it's just because it's a big box item. Of a certain ways, it might be a case of like, oh hey, now we don't really get to do the old ignore like the first £130 worth of stuff because it's a weight issue. I do hope this gets sorted. I know they use Zatu for the, I'll say, distribution for the last stuff, which is really strange. I will keep my judgments on Zatu to myself, as I've had a lot of bad dealings with Zatu in the past. But they got these to me relatively quickly, both the ones that I ordered in September and then the ones I ordered like last Friday. I got them yesterday, day before, so I'm super happy that they actually turned up. Take that as you will. Going forwards, we know that we're getting changes to the foil rares in the boxes, which is really cool. There's actually something that I'd like to get my hands on if possible. I don't really know if I want to buy any more boxes, not because I don't think it's worth it, it's just the fact that I don't necessarily need to, if you know what I mean. Like, I've got 2 boxes, I've cracked open all the stuff that I kind of really need. I'm missing a playset of a couple of things, and then I'm done. Lionites, the Phoenix, and Ashes. No, Rise of the Ashes. Or Rise from the Ashes. That's the only card that I actually really need. I have 0 of. I'm not sure if they're necessarily in any good decks currently, but it could be something that I need in the future, especially when we get further down the line with the white, light and dark decks. I would like it if the dark decks are Underworld based, as it's always nice to have the option of having like a reanimation deck in the card game. I know we do have like Grave Recursion currently in green, which is really cool. So having like maybe like a green black deck would actually, like, you know, be an animator deck, or like a hand filling deck, which would be pretty cool in the future. So my clumpings, a fellow consumer picked these up in his box. This all, they claim this is all from one box. They opened 17 boxes, and this was their one box. And I felt bad that I pulled 3 of the same card. They pulled, I think, 7 or 6 of the same card. Man, I'd be pissed, because product's limited. You're trying to build things. If that was your only box and the only thing you got was the same thing over and over again, you'd be livid, because like the only thing that A-Drive really promised people, because I spoke to A-Drive a little bit, like faceless person to content creator / CEO. I was like, so what's the plan for this? It's on this live stream. You can see it as I get it swiftly. And I'm like, yo, what's the plan for like this? Is it meant to be one of these cheap card games? Is it going to be expensive? Like, how's your monetization looking? How people get into this game? Is it going to be something easy or simple? And he was like, no, the plan is basically like you buy a booster box or 2 or whatever, or you buy all the starter decks, and then you generally have all the cards that you really need for that season. And then obviously when we bring out new starter decks, we'll bring out like new cards in there, and like they'll have this deck only cards. Has to be done to make the product worthwhile. Not necessarily a fan of that either. I know every other card game does it, and it's, you know, it's fine for all the card games to do that, but it is kind of annoying that the only way you can get certain cards in the booster boxes, where it's obviously the only 2 ways you can buy things, is if it's like the full arts, which is like technically secondary max rarity, or stellar. Luckily for now, they haven't got any stellars that are like, oh yeah, if you don't get in the boost, if you don't get in the decks, you have to get the stellar of it. Just thank God for that. But the only thing, like, I really have an issue with that really is that if you don't print a lot of decks, or people are having to buy multiple decks anyway, so that means that people who want to play the game can't get into it through the decks. They have to buy the boost boxes. Like, you know, there's certain cards they can't hold of. Obviously, playing a deck that's 3 of rather than 4 of is really weird to me, because having to buy 2 decks for a one-off card from the secondary deck, so you've got a spare card, seems really strange to me. I don't know if the idea of it is essentially like you buy 2, your friend buys 2 of something else, and then you go, okay, I'll give you one of mine if you give me one of your ones. That we got the swaps, the trades in. I don't know if that was the plan. That works really well if you have people to play with in your local community. I know A-Drive said that he wants this to be an actual big card game one day, where you can go to your local shop, you can play there. There will be support. There will be tournaments being held. It will be an actual card game you can go to the shops and buy, which is really cool, and it's really something fun that we can get like so close to it. That essentially, like, the first few sets are basically going to be just for us. I don't really mean that in like a horrible way. I do mean that more like, hey, look, we like that with the we picked it with the founders, with the premier guys that have gone in and gone like, well, look, we believe in you. We want the cards in to be good. I like the art. I think the text on it is really simple and like, but well thought out enough that you can actually play the game and actually get into it. But at the same time, like, we need to see what's going on with the next stuff. So hopefully some of the content creators out there will be able to crack a box early. Americans will get their stuff early because it's obviously shipping from America. So for us over in Europe and like Australia, we'll have to wait maybe like 3 to 4 weeks to get our stuff. But hopefully when things go live, America will basically be like, yeah, it's getting sent out this Friday. It's probably there by the following week, and then people who live in America can crack things up. We can see it for ourselves. Like, oh yeah, like the bunching's disappeared. Oh yeah, you're only putting like one hollow of like a hollow per box, which is going to be really good, I think. Obviously, people are complaining like, oh, I only wanted to like buy 1 or 2 boxes and hoping to pull all my rares. And then in this case, you're having to buy like 3 boxes, which, like, yeah, I get, to be fair, like having to spend nearly $400 just to get a playset of things is very expensive. But at the same time, if you're not playing everything, you can always trade those things up with your friends who possibly do live locally or sell in trade groups. That may or may not make things easier for you. That being said, though, I'm looking forward to the future. I know A-Drive has been saying like Shattered Stars is like basically like here now. It's coming super soon. We should be able to like pre-order stuff soon. I'm going to go on the max tier. I'm going to get the tier 4, I think it is, which is like 11 packs monthly, and I'll hopefully get stuff that we want from that. I know it's 4 commons and a hollow, and I know it's going to be like full art hollows or stained glass hollows or like stellar hollows. Personally speaking, I'd like it if it was more of a case of like, I know it's alternate art stuff, but when you buy like the 11 stuff, obviously you might want to go, hey, look, we'll sell 12, and then there's 4 different types, so we give you a playset of each thing. So you get 3 of these, 3 of those, 3 of this, 3 of that, and there's your 12 packs with random chance to get whatever hollow it is from these packs. But you will have access to like 4 different sets of commons that may or may not be good. Now I think the commons are also different artwork, so it might be a case of like, oh, I've picked up 11 packs, I want 3 for myself, and then there's quick maths, 8, yep, 3 from 11 is 8. 8 common alt arts that I don't need anymore that you can trade on, or you can pass on, or you can hold on for yourself for a bit longer. Again, if it is a monthly thing and they change every month, it's a case of like, just hold on to those, and then maybe there'll be a month that you have to miss because either like you can't afford to do it, or you change cards and you forget to pay and it goes out and you go like, oh, I missed it because I didn't change my card. You've got your options of like, hey, look, I've got some old stuff. If you want to trade for some different stuff, I'll be like, appreciative of it. Looking forward to this. We're going to get into our game soon. We're going to play the game, and we're going to get hopefully good enough to be it so I can be in the next clash, so I can make myself a card in the game. Not me specifically, but a card that I produce for the card game. Akita does not want to be in the card game as a god, unless it's a Githor. Maybe we will talk then. Or Boulder. I look forward to that. So for those who don't know, A-Drive, I don't think he necessarily said it like specifically, once we're done with Greek mythology we'll move on to a different mythology, but there was a short at some point in the past where he did kind of mention like, hey, for those of you who don't know, like Elestrals is kind of based on mythology, and we might be tempted to go elsewhere. But I mean, there's a lot of mythologies. You can go to India. There's lots of different gods there. Very different hierarchy of gods. That's really cool. Less Zeus is always good. You've got Norse mythology. You've got Scandinavian, other Scandinavian mythologies. You've got Chinese mythology. You've got Japanese mythology. You've got like South America, Aztec mythology. They're really cool right now. Really hot in Magic right now. We got our mythology, which is, well, I'm atheist, but the white people have mythology, which isn't so great. And then, there's the ancient Egyptians have like a really cool mythology as well. There's at least a good like 8 to 10 modern mythologies that you can like pull from and actually enjoy it, and you can make them a few different sets. And I do think that having light and dark be set 3 and 4 might actually do really well in not only a Greek setting but also in a Norse setting. You know, a lot of angels, Valkyries, you know, a lot of dark side things such as like Fenrir and I'm not sure there was Jormungandr, the World Snake, Fafnir, Nidhogg. You know, you got all these cool things that are all, you know, underworld and underground based, as well as like more of maybe like a dark Trifnil that we could change. He's a Cerberus after all. Makes sense that he would have a deck that wants to like maybe mess around in the underworld. Or I don't know how they're gonna do it in the future if you can play both like element types or if it goes by name. So it'd be a cool case if you can play like half the deck is fire, half the deck is darkness, and then you go like, oh yes, I'm playing like the Atamarasu deck where, you know, I'm playing like all the different Cerberus creatures, and we go from there. But no, I think that's where my thoughts on the end for today. Hopefully the next video you see from me would be a gameplay video where we actually get some games in, get some experience. That's something I want to do. I want to do some deck building. I want to see what we can get out of this game. I'm not necessarily saying it's going to be live gameplay, but it might definitely be some recorded gameplay from the app. So, peace out, casters. We'll see you guys soon. Thank you for being here. And I'm a sleepy boy, as it's 2 AM in the morning. So, yeah, get some rest, play hard, cast well. Master Casters, here we come.